I'm here at one of my favourite places in the world, Bondi, rocked into an eerie silence by an unthinkable massacre. I'll have the whole program for you from here tonight, covering all the angles and the anger with Danica DiGiorgio, Josh Frydenberg, Michaelia Cash, Gemma Tonyini, Paul Rubenstein and more. Before I go any further though, let me show you the details we know about the victims. We don't know all the people who have been killed, all the 15 who have been killed yet. They have not all been named. We know the youngest was Matilda, aged 10. Alexander Kleitman, Daniel Elkman, Peter Mayer, Rabbi Eli Schlanger, Reuven Morrison, Rabbi Yaakov Levitin and Timur Weitzen. 15 people all up. We don't have all their names yet. And there are 42 in hospital. Bondi Beach on a summer Sunday, 15 people killed in an Islamist terrorist atrocity. The youngest victim, a 10-year-old girl named Matilda. You could hardly get a more Australian setting for such an un-Australian act. Bondi has become our ground zero in the fight against anti-Semitism and Islamist extremism. If Bali was our 9/11, then yesterday's barbarity was our October the 7th. Today is the 11th anniversary of the Lindt Cafe siege. But time and again our politicians, especially Anthony Albanese and this government, ignore the warnings. They deny the obvious and they avert their eyes. So we end up with this.
To feel Hanukkah.
It was what we all feared most, a mass casualty attack. We'd seen cars graffitied, shops vandalised, synagogues burned, and our leaders did far too little. We saw almost daily protests, calls to eliminate Israel from the river to the sea, and chants for death to the IDF. And even right here on Bondi Beach just 3 months ago, chants to globalise the Intifada.
This is not normal.
Yet still, we were told the government had it under control. Yet we now have seen what globalising the Intifada means. When we heard and saw celebrations after October the 7th, nothing happened. When they chanted at the Opera House, we were told, don't worry, they didn't say gas the Jews, they said, where's the Jews? As if that's any better. Where are the Jews? Well, they're here at Bondi, threatened and intimidated for 2 years, abandoned for 2 years, and now 15 people, innocent people, dead.
The Jewish community are hurting today. Today, all Australians wrap our arms around them and say, we stand with you. We will do whatever is necessary to stamp out anti-Semitism. It is a scourge and we will eradicate it together.
But he hasn't done all he could. Albanese has not called out Islamist extremism. He hasn't implemented the recommendations from his special envoy against anti-Semitism. Even worse, when he appointed her, he also appointed an envoy for Islamophobia. When has that been a problem in Australia? As I said last Thursday, in what I thought would be my last editorial of the year, this false equivalence is not only weak, it's dangerous. We've been calling out Albanese's weakness on this since October the 9th, 2023. Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong disgust me. They have stood by while the Australian Jewish community has been terrorised, and their constant demonisation of Israel has only fuelled this anti-Semitism in our country. It is delusional, but it's also dangerous. And it shows just how quickly a national government can make this country less reliable, less committed to its traditional values, less supportive of democracy and sovereign rights, and crucially, less secure. It's a sickening day for Australia and confirmation that the Albanese Labor government is changing this country quite dramatically, quite quickly, and all for the worse. The political left, our own government, most of the media and the protesters have rewarded terrorism. We just have to hope now that it doesn't encourage more. Yet we now know that after a Muslim cleric celebrated the slaughter of Jews in Israel back in October 2023, Albanese spoke the very next day at the Lakemba Mosque and did not even mention the atrocities of just days earlier. And that same cleric was among other hardline protesters in the August march across the Harbour Bridge. Instead of calling out the extremists, Albanese caved into them. He rewarded terrorists and the extremists and, of course, the terrorists of Hamas by recognising the non-existent state of Palestine. What Anthony Albanese has done today shames our nation and it imperils us. And now we get more reassurance in place of action from the Prime Minister.
Australia will never submit to division, violence or hatred, and we will come through this together.
But you have submitted to it, Prime Minister. You have given the anti-Israel crew exactly what they wanted. You've attacked the victims of terrorism rather than those who inspire it. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has got your measure.
Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country. You took no action. You let the disease spread. And the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today.
So what should Albanese do? Well, he's starting from a terrible place now. This mass killing is exactly what we all feared, exactly why we called for a tougher stand against Islamist extremism and against anti-Semitism all along. Albanese should do now what he failed to do then. He should go to Muslim communities and talk about how they suffer too from extremists, but make them join in a public battle to root out this extremism. The Imams Council's first statement after this Bondi massacre didn't even mention Jews or the Jewish community. Ponder that. They've since put out a new statement that does mention them. Albanese needs to do what his anti-Semitism envoy has asked, including provide stronger policing and security. But he needs primarily to call out the actual problem, the ideology. Terrorists will use knives, guns, cars, planes, fire, whatever they can. You can't battle Islamist extremism without taking on the hatred. Police today refuse to even discuss the obvious motivations for this evil.
Commissioner, there are reports a black ISIS-style flag was draped over the government's car. Are police aware of this? Has a flag been recovered?
That's all part of the investigation. As I just said before, I'd rather not comment on that right at the moment. Obviously, we will look at the motives behind this attack, and I think that's really important as part of the investigation. Our investigation will be thorough, and we will be happy to provide further information.
Yeah, but one of the terrorists was on an ASIO watch list, yet he still did this. Still got access to guns, which of course was a mistake, to be sure. But a welcome distraction, really, for the Prime Minister.
The government is prepared to take whatever action is necessary. Included in that is the need for tougher gun laws.
The gun debate is a distraction because even without guns, extremists wreak havoc. We've seen that time and time again. When you focus on guns, you miss the main point, the ideology, the motivation. The Islamist extremist ideology is hard for those of us who love life to understand. But it's about chaos. It's about scaring Jews away from everywhere. And the Christians then. We're all fair game in pursuit of a global Islamist caliphate. This chaos, this trauma, the weakness of our governments, well, that's exactly what they want to see. And right now, today, Australia is weaker than it was last week, and the Islamists are stronger and inspired. Good people are scared. Good, innocent people are dead. You can't reason with this, Prime Minister. I implore you for the 200th time, take it on. And what can we do, you and I? Well, we need to accept that this is our problem. This is not just a horrible dilemma for the Jewish community alone, it's an assault on our country, our values and our future. Speak up, condemn it. Don't cower in the face of the extremists. We outnumber them. They're just a lot noisier. If Australia stands for anything, it stands against this, what we've seen here. We can't accept weak leadership anymore.